Good morning, millennials. Welcome back to the Morning Toast, or as today I'm calling it the Morning Letdown, because I am just here to talk about all the things that are letting me down.
What? I mean, you just got back from vacation.
Okay.
You went to Eurovision.
I did.
Let's start with some positive
Okay,
stars.
that's true.
I love your new necklace.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I'm
I
just
went
noticing.
out looking for the biggest star I could find.
Okay.
And
By the way, I actually have one if you wanted to borrow it.
Do you?
I do.
That's what, you set out to a foreign country with one thing specifically, and I was like, I want the biggest, I'm a big Jew in your face for everyone this week who was messaging me like, you dirty Jew, I got this necklace for them, 200 shekels, bitch.
It's really cute. So
Thank
I was running late today because I took a bad route to get here. So I haven't caught up with you.
No, I know, and also I got home at 1 a.m.
How was your trip?
My trip was...
I haven't spoken to you since we did the podcast together.
I know,
well,
but
other
we were
than
fake
text.
talking too.
No, other than text, but I didn't call you up and say, how's your trip?
The trip was great. I did not get nearly as tan as I intended to.
I'm tanner than you.
Everyone in Israel, at the pool, they were like, oh, you American, you have to put on sunblock. Literally people were coming up to me, they're like, you're American, right? Because I was just laying out. So I put on sunblock the first day. I got nothing. Then the couple next days, I'm like, fuck that, I'm not putting on sunblock. I didn't even get burnt. I didn't get nothing.
Oh, I was gonna say, that's the thing about sunblock. It actually works.
Blocks the sun, yeah.
No, it's crazy.
Well, I had a great time. It was part cultural. I was with TPG Brian, who had never been to Israel, and he was doing all the tourist things. I didn't go to all of them with him, because once you've done it once, it's a lot of work. I'm not climbing Masada at 6 in.
Did he do it?
Yes.
What'd he think?
He loved it. He loves stuff like that. He couldn't get over the historical significance of the country for so many different groups of people.
Agreed.
And I was like, that's what I try and tell everyone. And he was really felt so powerful from the Western Wall, and he did all types. He went to Bethlehem, visited, the more where Kim had North baptized. He went to East Jerusalem. He went to Tel Aviv. He really experienced all. He was there for 9 days. I was only there for 6. But he really did, if you're going to travel with TPG, because it's honestly unlike any other experience I've ever had in my life.
So overall,
it was a great trip. I'm exhausted. I don't want to jinx it. On the way there, I completely circumvented jet lag. It's a 7-hour time difference, and I was feeling really proud of myself. Today, I think I also did, but I'll see how. I'm sure I'll just be tired tonight.
Whenever you come back from Israel, you always wake up really early. That's the clock that you're on.
But that's if you take the midnight flight, which is what everyone takes. But TBG opened my eyes to a new time. Usually everyone goes there, they get on the 11 p.m. flight, and they come back on the 11 p.m. flight, so you can sleep the whole time. Mm-hmm. But on the way there, it's you take the 11 p.m. flight, you sleep for 8 hours, and then you wake up, it's 10 p.m. So it's that fucks you up. So I took the 5 o'clock. I had dinner, I watched Mean Girls, and then I fell asleep for 6 or 7 hours, and I woke up, and it was 11 a.m. That's perfect, and I really didn't feel, I took one nap, I didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
This time, I had a little bit of a verklempt situation, but I realized that listening to other people's tales of jet lag is not interesting.
No.
But I want to talk about Eurovision, because Tel Aviv hosted Eurovision this year, which is why me and TPG went. I had never been before. I knew nothing about it.
So it's American Idol for all
the
of Europe.
countries.
And
yeah.
it's countries. It's the Olympics of American Idol.
But it's a huge deal. If you win, Celine Dion won. It can change your life.
Okay.
And so I was just really excited. I had no stake in. I was voting for Israel, but they're not going to win. They just won. I was just really there to enjoy and be a spectator. And it was very cool. You know me, I love singing competitions because I think that I should be in one. So it was really just, I loved hearing people sing that. And the songs are so good. I'm surprised that those songs don't get more popular, because there was a couple bangers in there I could see us driving up to Camp Toast this weekend listening to, with Top Down. But I had an experience that I want to talk about. And you know what? In the name of James Charles and Tati, I have receipts and I'm saying names because I feel like it. And I really hope we have some toasters in the Netherlands, because I have many a thought on the Netherlands. Let me just start by saying I was rooting for the guy from the Netherlands. That song is so beautiful. Ben is 100% convinced it's a Ryan Tedder song that he plagiarized. But still, the guy has an amazing voice.
I saw Ben's story.
Yeah.
I wasn't convinced.
No, I'm really I thought the song was great. And it's a 4-hour thing. It's 2 hours of performances, and then they have a special system for judging. It's all the panelists judge. It's a whole thing. So for the judging, I was at the bar. And I'm sitting next to this guy at the bar, and he's from the Netherlands, and I had a feeling he was famous because people kept coming up and being oh, they had a respect for him, shaking his hand, taking pictures. I later looked him up, and he's a singer / radio personality in the Netherlands who has many times, fallen prey to the victim, to the treacherousness of anti-Semitism. This was not his first rendezvous with anti-Semitism. And I never really, I don't think.
He's the anti-Semite?
Yeah, I know I phrased that weirdly.
Or he was a victim?
No, he's the anti-Semite,
He's the perpetrator of anti-Semitism.
He's a perpetrator.
Okay.
And you know what? I think, like, I, before this, thought I had, like, experienced anti-Semitism, like, in my face before, but I don't think I have. I think we grew up, like, everyone I know is Jewish, and I think in New York, it's, like, very Jew-friendly. So I've never experienced like blatant anti-Semitism like spoken to my face, and I was not prepared in any way. And if I could go back, I would have like handled it totally differently.
Of course.
But it was in that moment I realized like, oh my God, I've never really experienced like something so blatantly like bigoted. I'm like, oh. At first I was like, no, he couldn't have just said that. So here's what happened. I'm sitting, you know me, I find a chair anywhere, and I'm sitting, and there's two guys from the Netherlands. They're blonde, and they're like decked out in the Netherlands like sparkled shirts that they made. The guy who ended up being the guy, his name is Gordon. He's like a famous singer. He's like Madonna, Gordon, and he's also like a radio personality who said something really derogatory to Barbra Streisand once. And he was so drunk, literally had the worst breath. Like, out of all the things he did, his breath was the most offensive, okay? And he's like we're sitting at a table, like I'm calling for Brian, like we're like together, but like not, we're just like sitting at the same table. It was a small table. And him and I like just start talking, me, I'm like, I make friends wherever I go. And big mistake. And we're just like chatting or whatever, and he does the weirdest thing. Like he's talking with his friend, and like I'm like a part of the conversation, but like not really, He's like, like he's trying to make a joke, So he has a soda bottle. It was an orange soda. He takes the cap off of his bottle. He puts it on his nose, and he's like, Shabbat Shalom. And I'm like, what? I was like, that's like kind of like anti-Semitic, like, but I was like, I must have misunderstood. I was like, there's no way that like in Tel Aviv, I'm wearing my big Jew necklace that this guy's gonna say anything. I'm like, I must have missed like the first half of the joke. I was like a little caught off guard, but I'm like, it can't be. It can't. Like, there's no way. Then, literally 5 minutes later, I'm calling Brian. I'm like, Brian. So Brian comes over. Me and Brian are joking about something, and like they're half listening to my conversation now, and I'm like, oh my God, Brian, you're such a bitch. And they're like, think that it's so funny that I called someone a bitch, and they're like, oh my God, you filthy. And then they didn't say anything, and they both started hysterically laughing to each other. What do you finish that sentence with? You filthy Jew. Now, I didn't say anything there because I wasn't sure.
Right,
but like,
and they didn't technically say it.
They didn't technically say it, but it was the first thing that really made me think, like, this guy has like really casual anti-Semitism like in his blood, and there's literally no doubt in my mind that he was going to say Jew, but he didn't, and I wasn't like about to start a scene, so I just like Googled him afterwards. I took a couple pictures of him like for my like self the next morning just to remember what he looked like, and I like in a court of law, like I don't really have any hard evidence that he was an anti-Semite, but like you could feel it,
Oh yeah, no, you can definitely feel it. That's really disgusting.
No, it was so crazy.
Now that you're talking about your own experience, I'm remembering my experiences with anti-Semitism. And
really?
When you know, you know.
That's the thing. It's like, I don't have any proof, except that the bottle on the nose, it's like you're making your nose big, like Jews have big noses, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Like, that I could almost understand someone like trying to make a joke. It's like, that's a joke a Jewish person should make, so like you certainly can't say it with your blonde hair. But I don't know.
So then what did he say to Barbra Streisand?
Oh, actually, Ben sent me the article because I was like so like upset about it, and Ben did a whole Google search on him. Okay, Gordon talks about Jews. It's from a .org website, so it's legit. And it goes like this. This is his name. Cornelis Willem Weckeroth, also known as the singer Gordon, has astonishingly expressed himself in an interview on the Amsterdam news channel AT5. The anchorman, okay, whatever. Gordon said that the reason Barbra Streisand has arrived in Amsterdam was, yes, it seems to me that she needs money. She is right. I would do the same thing if I was in her stead. The interviewer asks because she's 71. Gordon interrupts in the middle of his sentence and says, quite typical for Jews. Do you really think that's a good reason? It's a good idea to scrape some more money. Okay? I had a feeling about this guy. I experienced it, and I did my research, and I feel justified.
Oh my God, that's
so
awful.
It really opened my eyes to a new experience that I've never experienced before, much less I planned on experiencing in the Holy Land of Israel, the Jewish homeland.
Right.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, well, I'm glad that's your big takeaway from the trip. We missed you here. It was a snitch on the toast week.
Situation.
Snitches on the garlic bread and sneesh on le baguette. And it was a great week.
And Mitchell Tenpenny was here.
And Mitchell Tenpenny was here.
Was he the cutest man ever?
He was so freaking cute. Oh my God, on Friday, I was such a freak because he was on the show. We were talking about his concert that night. And I was saying Snitch was going, I was like, oh, I can't come because I have an engagement. And I meant it like I have a prior engagement, but then I really had Sam's engagement, and instead of like pivoting, I was like, because I have an engagement.
Oh God, I need to go back and
then
watch that. Did she watch a toast?
She didn't watch it until this morning,
Oh, good.
and I knew she was getting engaged like an hour later, so I knew we would be okay, and like there was no way she was going to listen to it, but I was just like dying, and then like no one in the room knew why I was being a freak, and so it was just so awkward.
So Mitchell Tim, anything's your freak.
Yeah, I explained to him after, so I think
okay.
I've smoothed it over,
Okay.
and then after his concert, like we actually wound up inviting him to the engagement, so it all came full circle.
Okay, that's good.
So anyways, it was a great week. It was a great weekend. Sam got engaged. I just love love.
Love. It's like, you know what I love when girls get engaged, or they just show up with like the perfect white dress. I'm like, you've had that in your closet for a month.
Oh, no, even better. So the engagement party was at a bar at a hotel, and her mom brought us upstairs like to see her just getting ready before she went down to the party. And she had a closet full of white dresses and jumpsuits that her mom went out and bought for her.
Oh my, that's honestly so thoughtful.
No, it was so pertinent. Like we came in, she was wearing a jumpsuit. We're like, wow, fabulous, perfect. And she was like, wait, no, I have this other dress. And we're like, no, even better, do that. And she was like, look in the closet, and we open it, and it's all white dresses.
That's so funny. Honestly, that's important.
No, that is being in tune with what's necessary. Anyways, I mean, I don't know how much longer I can sit here without talking about like the two major things that happened this weekend. One, the Game of Thrones finale, which give me 1 second until I say number two, James Charles redemption video. Holy shit,
and then also Jeffree Star like attempt at a redemption video?
And here's the thing. James Charles put out his video, and I turned, and
Me too.
I was like, oh my God, James, like this is what
are we talking about it?
Wait, I just need to get my thought.
Okay.
I was like, this is what I was waiting for. Why'd you even bother with that apology video? When I turned on that apology video because I wanted to hear from you, this was the video I needed and that I was looking for. And then when I didn't get it, I just went to Tati's, and then she was a precious gem of a woman, so I just believed her. Then after I watched James Charles' video, I was like, you know what? I'm not going back into cancellation mode. I want to see the final video with receipts from Jeffree Star, and then I will make my decision. Jeffree Star released his video at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time when Game of Thrones goes live.
Oh my
which
God,
was
that's
like
so dumb.
But also he definitely didn't want people to see it because it sucked.
It sucked,
And you know what? Actually, I need to calm down because I don't want to like get on Jeffree Star's bad side ever.
No, Jackie, I know, and I'm feeling really okay. I guess we're just talking
But
about
it seems like he's done taking people down.
Okay, so here are the fast 5 stories that you need to know before you wake up and take a bite out of your morning toast, if that's okay.
I guess we're starting with James Charles.
Okay, I couldn't agree more. And I've been through like a really, like a big cycle of emotions through this whole thing. Because you know, like I've really recently, before this whole thing, became like a really big James Charles fan for a lot of reasons. And I just thought it was like admirable that like this kid who is really a kid, like gets so much hate for literally no reason, for showing up at the Met Gala, literally the meanest comments on his Instagram. And I just like, I don't know, I took a liking towards him. I liked his videos. I've been subscribed to him for a while. I like the Sister Squad. And I took this whole, incident really to heart. And I guess I'm like such a fair weather bandwagon fan because like in the week since this video has come out, like I've just been like investing in YouTube a lot and I've become like a huge Jeffree Star fan. Subscribe to him, watch his videos like on all my long drives throughout Israel, on the back of the bus, the whole thing. I have just been really like out here just loving Jeffree Star. And like I knew he's a shit starter, and I read all the stuff about him and Kylie. Like, he has a lot of drama with Kylie because he's always, like, honestly reviewing her products, whatever. And now I'm just really unsure because I had made up my mind. You know what I mean?
I had made up my mind, but no. Here's what I'm sure of. I'm Team James all the way. First of all, he handled his cancellation like a pro and is, like, a person who's personally invested in cancellations and what people do with them. I'm so proud for all of cancel culture. It's a big step, like, because also he made such a good point, which is that like this whole thing and this video like brought him to such a dark place, and all of the comments, and like we were all so quick to judge, and it doesn't matter, like no one should ever have to feel that way. Ever. Like,
but that was my problem with Jeffree Star's video. He's like, in this past week, I've been in a dark place. Why? It's not about you.
I think what he meant as a dark place is like his evil place, where he's sending out evil tweets and he's ready to put out evil receipts, and he doesn't want to be that person anymore.
Because people like now just allude to the fact that like they have dark thoughts when they get in trouble for stuff, and they're like, it's supposed to like be an excuse.
No, I think it was different dark places. Like I think James Charles, like without saying it, was like depressed and like thinking really scary thoughts, whereas Jeffree Star went to a place of being like an evil YouTuber, which I guess he used to be.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be that person. Now, whether or not that means he just like didn't have the receipts to back it up or he really has turned a corner in his life, it doesn't matter. Like James Charles has come on top. Now I'm watching the live sub counts.
Me too. Oh my God.
And I guess I talked a big talk about going to unsubscribing and subscribing. I never did anything, so I don't have to undo anything. But I'm so happy for him. I wish he never put out that apology video.
Well, so he had to contain, and I don't think, and that's what this whole thing has come to. It's like nobody thought it would turn into the big shitstorm that it did. So when James released that video, I'm sure he was like, I just have to do this, and like we'll move on from it. But it literally never ended. Like E! News, Buzzfeed, like real legit publications would not stop writing it up every time someone did something. And James's video was perfect for a lot of reasons. One, it's like you can't argue with proof. So it's like he had no shortage of proof. I'm like, I don't, if I wanted to go back and find a text message, like I can't do that. He literally had so much, you could see some of them were from his computer, some of them were for his phone. Like he really did his due diligence and did his research and like made sure that every I was dotted and every T was crossed. And that's what I wanted from Jeffree. Cause I'm like, there's no way that I could believe Tati's video so wholeheartedly and then also believe James's. So I'm like, there must be more because I believe Tati so much, but also James, even though they're so conflicting. So I'm like, well, what am I missing? And now they're like, what you're missing, we can't reveal. Like, okay, nothing says I have no proof like a 13-minute video that says absolutely nothing.
Right. Also, I think the most pertinent part of James's video, like the most effective, was the swift takedown of Zara Larsson. Holy shit. Like, not only was it like the clapback of all time, but it was so true what he said about his private DM to her boyfriend versus the way that she courted him in the first place, and the way that we talk about each of them just based on their gender and sexuality.
No, Jackie, totally. And what's so shocking is how many people, since this whole thing happened, so many people came out and like had stories about, and literally every single person has retracted what they said. So Zara Larsson apologized on Twitter and on Instagram again this morning, and that random person who went viral saying it was a social experiment that James, literally, that is evil. Like, that person is truly, like, an evil person.
100%, but, like, at least, it's like, Three Identical Strangers. Like, they did a horrible social experiment, but at least give us the results.
Right.
So, like, they did a horrible...
There was an interesting result.
There wasn't, like, and everyone, and us included, because, like, we even sat here and, like, tried to see both sides and, like, worried about James Charles's mental health just because we just assumed everything that Tati said was completely factual, but no, they were all like, and I think there was a lot that she said that was true, and I think a lot of that was...
He definitely got too big for his britches.
He got too big for his britches, forgot where he came from, definitely acted like a celebrity, etc. And he apologized for that at the end of his video. He was like, about all that, like, that's true, and I need to work on that.
The famous thing was so interesting, and it was really... it was the only response that would have made sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought that was why, and then the screenshots of his Instagrams having Kylie and Lauren Gray, like, I loved all of that.
I loved it, and I guess that's what everyone says, so, like, we're so famous.
No, totally, I'm gonna start using that now. But I want to talk about the Zara Larsson. Oh, and so now a lot of the speculation is, like, it's very odd because everyone who came out against him, Zara Larsson, that random person from Twitter, Tati James, has apologized. And it's like, we want to drop it. Tati deleted her video. Like, people are like...
Bye, sister?
Yeah. So people are like... odd. It's like literally like everyone flipped a switch and now everyone's like, James definitely threatened legal action, sent them a cease and desist for defamation. I don't know I have any proof, but I am 100% certain that is just so not the truth, because if that were the case and they were all scared straight by a lawyer, they would stop making videos. They all keep making more videos.
No, also, if he was threatening defamation, if what Tati said is true, then she could back it up in court and it wouldn't be defamatory if it's the truth. And they would say, we can't talk about this because James has threatened legal action. You could say that. Sorry,
Tati's video isn't deleted. It's now unlisted. So if you have the link, you can watch it, but if you search Bye Sister, it won't come up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so impressed by James Charles. I can't even tell you. And, like, I was turned, and he brought me back from the brink.
No, 1,000%. And the numbers fluctuating is, like, interesting to watch, but it's also so sad because it's, like, these are people who are, like, huge YouTube fans, and, like, so easily they can be, like, I mean, honestly, me too, though.
No, but it was all so persuasive.
Yeah. It really
was. Really,
except for Jeffree's video.
The Tati, Jeffree tweets, etc., was really, like, so coordinated, almost, and I think that's what James was alluding to in his video, but he doesn't have proof, so he didn't say, but, like, the way that Jeffree, like, texted him and said what's coming out and, like, what's gonna happen, it was like a...
threatening.
Like a whole symphony of a takedown.
Those
and
text messages.
It didn't come out of nowhere.
Those text messages were evil. Like calling him a predator. And I'm really glad that they heard from that waiter guy because he was like, first of all, he's an asshole illegally recording a FaceTime conversation. I didn't watch his video, but
Me neither.
James told me everything I need to know. And here's what I needed to know. The guy went there on his own and consented to kissing him. Like literally, how can you call James Charles a predator when he just invited someone over?
Right, and then also that they had multiple conversations about his sexuality, which is why James had text messages sent to him that were about his sexuality. He wasn't trying to convince him.
Right, no, the guy was like seeking
Asking
advice.
him, am I straight? And he was like, you're definitely not totally straight.
And you know what? I love that James used that clip from Jeffree about like being a gay man who's into straight men, because I never understood that concept before. And first of all, it was just shady of him to use that video, but also it was quite helpful and explanatory.
Educational, and even James said, like, I love this clip from Jeffree. And that's what's so interesting about all of these videos. It's like, they all start with, I respect, I love, I admire, I just
have kindness in my heart.
And, and I love our relationship, and now I'm gonna annihilate you.
Yeah.
And then at the end, like, I just hope we can come back from this.
It's all very pretty.
It's all very pretty, and there's something like in the water in the beauty YouTube community. But then also, at the end of the day, this has been major for the YouTube beauty community. This has been major for YouTube.
Yeah.
This has been major for James, Jeffree Star, and Tati. And like, I'd like to think they were all smart enough to put this on. However, like where it took James to, definitely that was not ever going to be a play. Like, I don't think it was all orchestrated, but the way it all came out, it's like everyone got more subscribers than they started with. Business is booming.
Oh my God,
and you know what?
James
The sugar bear hair thing, I just want to talk about it.
Oh, me too. That's what I was going to say, because in my IMO, James really didn't do anything wrong. Like, okay.
No.
Should he have not? I don't even know. It's like, okay.
But every text message that he sent to Tati was like
so long.
She made it seem he was unreachable, brief, doesn't give a shit, posted, told her after, etc. But no, he was like so in depth. He felt so horrible. The only thing I'll say is like, the being mauled and unsafe in VIP at Coachella is a reach. Definitely, it's a lot of pictures and stuff for him.
But we were at Coachella. We were fine. No, I'm kidding. But like, I saw Gigi Hadid in the VIP section at Coachella.
No, but she had artist passes.
No, I'm just saying. But she was sitting on the ground with her friends.
But I think also the way that I think James Charles is more approachable for a photo than Gigi Hadid. Like,
yes.
She's more of a celebrity, and like, because he is a social media celebrity, like, people feel like they know him, and that's what makes him that's what makes him so lovable. But it also causes a scene.
Yeah. No. I mean, there are a lot of famous people at Coachella. James Charles is by no means the most famous one. I do think he just wanted an artist pass for like the clout of it, which is fine. So did we. Like, there's nothing to be shameful about that. But lying and saying like, I felt unsafe. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
no, like, no one was gonna harm you. It was just
Right.
a lot of people. Like, it was annoying, and it's definitely like hindering your good time. But when he went through the whole sugar bear hair of it all, like, eyes turned. Okay, and then also then like it's
oh, and then the most interesting part is Nikita Dragun was in this week's episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She was at Erica's show.
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh my God, full circle YouTube moment.
Wow, I didn't even realize that. And we have to talk about all the TV. Have you been watching TV?
I caught up on New York, Beverly Hills, and Southern Charm on the plane.
Oh, Southern Charm.
I've just had like such a productive 24 hours.
No, that's really
Answered
great.
all my emails this morning.
Okay, so I just had one more thing to say about the drama of it all. But at the end of the day, I'm a bigger James Charles fan than when I started. I'm Stannis Baratheon for James Charles, and I'm proud of him.
No, me too.
What a video. That's how it's done, ladies and gents.
I couldn't agree more. I'm going to miss him while he's gone because I really love his makeup videos. But here's what I'll say. Is that we could all, this was really a social experiment for society, and how cancel culture can be so damaging, and people just like say, like, I think the craziest part of this whole thing is that one person who tweeted a crazy allegation about him in high school was a complete fabrication, like literally pulled out of thin air. Like, that, in my opinion, is the worse than anything any of these people did. Like, that is fucking evil, and that person, like, should be truly ashamed of themselves.
Agreed. So now here's my question. Where do we go from here in terms of, we all behaved horrendously during this entire saga. How do we do it differently next time?
We won't.
And I feel like this happens every time, even with Jordan Woods. We all piled on and we watch Red Table and we're like, oh my God, we're terrible people. And so say this happened again, like, and James Charles said, like, everyone is just guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
But when I think it was really that apology video that he made just confirmed everything that Tati had said. So I just assumed Tati was right, James was apologizing, we're moving on.
But you know what I did like? That I think he knows that people feel that way, because the first thing he did, he's like, I stand by that video, like, I am sorry, I do love Tati, like, I got emotional because, like, these are my family, but there's more to the story. So, like, at least he didn't glaze over the fact that he, like, totally pussied out in that video.
Yeah, so I think next time we just need, it's so hard, but we just need to wait it out. I'm not speaking on anything until, but we had heard from both sides. I don't know how we could have done differently. That's the problem. I don't know what lesson there is here, other than one, don't believe every tweet from someone in high school. And maybe Zara Larson like doesn't know everything, but other than that. And you know what? Here's the lesson. And it's a lesson that Chrissy Teigen tweeted 4 years ago when Logan Paul was getting canceled for his suicidal forest video. Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. It was such a good point. She was like, why can't we just start disliking people and like unfollow them in silence? Like, why do we always have to make it like a hashtag or make it like an actual thing to cancel this person? Like, can't we all just move on from this person and like move on with our lives and focus on better, more positive things? Like, you don't have to love everyone. And if someone does something that you admire and it upsets you, like, great, move on. Like, you don't have to make it a party. No, agreed. You don't have to throw a party. Agreed. I think it was a wise thing that Chrissy Teigen said. It was, and it's quite pertinent to this situation. Okay, we'll keep you, it sounds like everyone's going dark now, so there's not much to keep you updated on, and wow. Yeah, it's going to be a quiet couple of weeks in the beauty community. Yeah, I mean, this would be a good time for, like, you know, Jaclyn Hill to put out some videos. She just launched her cosmetics line. And it's so funny. Now I'm, like, so invested in YouTube, and I'm in the Morning Tube, which is the Morning Toasters YouTube subgroup, and she finally launched it. And apparently she's been saying she's going to launch her makeup line for 8 years. And people in the comments who are, like, even her biggest fans are like, honestly, I don't care. Like, she said for 8 years ago was when she started that she was going to, she kept saying next year. I wonder what happened. I mean, it's hard to launch a brand. We know. We're launching a multi-faceted brand, a multimedia brand. We're going to Camp Toast this weekend. I can't believe it's this weekend. It's here. I can't believe it's this weekend. I hope the weather holds. It would just, like, make it incredible. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, like, to make some new camp friends, you know? I know. I just ordered my bedding. I just packed all my Scentbird. Oh, you did? Yeah. Oh crap! I have to do that. Yeah. Oh, but I haven't packed for this camp yet. Yeah. But I gotta pack my Scentbird. I don't want these toasters think I'm smelly. Yeah, it could be hot. It's like a lot of hugging, lots of pictures. Like I don't need someone giving me a hug and like smelling my like sweaty hair. You know. Right. Scentbird is an absolute necessity for Camp Toast and all other events, especially this summer. Have you ever had someone come up to you and say, "You smell amazing. What perfume are you wearing?" Well, I haven't. But Scentbird is a luxury fragrance subscription service for perfumes and colognes. It's a way for you to discover new perfumes and colognes without buying an entire bottle. You choose from more than 450 designer brands of a perfume or cologne each month. Prada, Tom Ford, Versace, Dolce & Gabbana, Rich. You choose a perfume you want to try and they'll send you a 30-day supply. That's 120 sprays, enough to apply more than 4 times daily for a month. And with our exclusive offer, you can get 50% off your first month today. That's only $7.50 for your first fragrance. Go to scentbird.com/toast and use our code TOAST for 50% off your first month. Again, that's Scentbird, scentbird.com/toast and use our code TOAST for 50% off your first month. That's your first perfume or cologne for just $7.50. Sign on. Smell amazing. Yeah, I got a pack. Also, someone made a good point about Jaclyn Hill. Logan Brown said she was waiting to get divorced so her husband didn't have ownership. Oh, wow. Interesting. I don't know if that's like fact or speculation. The YouTube community is just... It's mind-boggling. I feel like I've really been missing out. Like, sleeping on it. I know. And now, you know, I have like YouTube TV and I use all these apps. So I watched all the James Charles videos like on my YouTube app on my TV. And then I was just like watching other videos. And I think like now, I mean, I guess this is what YouTube wants, but like to really just like watch YouTube like it's TV. You know, and in this whole thing, I've really found myself just watching more tutorials, and I have made, I don't know if you noticed, just like a couple changes to my routine, because, you know, Jeffree Star really taught me the most important thing is a primer, and I was just using some like shitty NYX primer. Oh, I use a spray primer. No, like which one is it? I forget which one he said was the best one, but I'm going to invest in a good primer. And I also changed foundations. I found that the It Cosmetics CC Cream was a little too full coverage for me. I'm now back onto my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, which Jeffree Star says is one of the best. Oh, I love the NARS foundation. I need full coverage because I'm an old hack. Oh, please. Well, okay. I can't believe that was only one story. There's 2 big stories today, and the other 3 actually are also pretty big. Second story, Game of Thrones finale last night. 8 years for me personally waiting, 10 years for some people, most people probably like 1 year phonies. But it happened. And this is what I have to say. And everyone big old thumbs down. And everyone is disappointed except for me. What? I thought it was the way it was buttoned up. Like, maybe it's not the way I would have done it in my dream world. You know, Dany and Jon were all together having little incestual babies, and everyone, the Starks are in Winterfell. It's the 7 Kingdoms. Of course, I would love that. We always knew it wasn't going to be a happy ending. So with that in mind, it was a pretty happy ending. No, I thought it was a happy ending. I'm not mad. This is what I was saying to Ben. I'm like, I'm not mad at all that it came full circle. We tied up a lot of loose ends. Like, I liked that it ended in like a Disney Channel show kind of way. Like, not everyone's happy, but like, there's peace in the realm. I liked that. But
how we got there made literally no sense. Like, what was the point in all this Jon drama, being a Targaryen, having, if we never would have found out, shit would have been the same.
Except him being a Targaryen and the rightful heir made
Dany
Dany
crazy.
Contributed to her badness.
But I did like that they did.
But I never, like, as much as I wanted him to sit on the throne, and I think I predicted last week that that would have been, like, my ending, I never thought he was fit for the throne. First of all, he died. So, like, I don't think that, like, he was brought back to, you know, help build this new world. Like, that was his role, and to help kill the Night King. But I don't think a dead person sits, like, someone on their second life would sit on the throne. I don't know. It was just, like, weird to me.
It's like, as much as I stand him and, like, I loved him and he really was the rightful heir to the throne, the more I got to see of him, I'm like, he would make a terrible leader. Like, sometimes the hard decision is not the right decision is the hard decision. And, like, he could not be bothered to make any sort of decision. Like, he knew Dany was terrible, but he's still like, I serve love, fears, duty. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, so being a good ruler is knowing what's right and knowing how to move forward. And he was such a goddamn pussy. I didn't want him to be the ruler.
I think he would have been a good ruler. He's always made hard decisions, like when he had to go make peace with the wildlings and unite them. Like, who else could have done that?
However, but by the way, season 8 Jon would never have done that. Like, season 1 Jon was such a man. Season 8 Jon is a pussy.
No, because season 7 he went down to Daenerys to get the Dragonstone, and he held his own up until she went above the wall and lost a dragon for him, and that's when he decided she was his queen. And you know what? We were all there when they were holding hands. My queen.
When she was talking
Dany.
to the Unsullied and the Dothraki about taking Winterfell, like, I was like, this bitch has got to go.
But you know what I loved is, like, the way she went mad. It's like, when she was making her speech, she was obviously, you know, like, power hungry. But when she was talking to Jon, it was like, she wasn't such a far cry from the girl she was 2 episodes before.
No, and, like, she's making sense, but what Jon was saying is, like, well, everyone thinks they're doing the righteous thing, even evil people. So it's like, you're technically saying, like, evil things, and you're just saying that you're liberating people, but you're really just killing them.
Right. So it was like, it wasn't like she became this person that we couldn't understand. It was like she was just felt so right about what she was doing that she couldn't see that maybe she was wrong.
The episode was stitched together in a weird way, where the second something finally happened, aka spoiler alert, Jon killed Dany, which was just beautiful and poetic, but really sad when the dragon, like, had to pick her up her corpse and carry her, to this weird, like, council meeting, like, a month later, I would presume.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense because, first of all, what happened in that month? Like, just anarchy? Like, who's ruling the people?
Yeah, I'm sure it was anarchy. It was like the Unsullied seized Jon. Everyone was like, come down. We got to get a new ruler. I'm sure it was anarchy. I didn't want to watch it. I was glad that we got the 1 month later.
I think
we got 1 month worth of beard on Kit and an extra month worth of beard on Tyrion.
I think the reason why people were so disappointed is because there isn't one person who I thought should be king or queen. Like, when they were picking from that list of people and her uncle stood up, I'm like, you know what, fine, he'd be good. Like, I wasn't mad about it.
He would have been more of the same.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, I wasn't like riding or dying for anyone because everyone I loved either died or went crazy. So it's like, there was never going to be a happy ending for anyone because there was no good choice.
But I actually think that Bran, even though everyone was like, he does nothing all season and he, you know, gets to put his name on the group project, I think really he is a good king. First of all, he can see everything. No one can conspire against him.
He's the king we need. He's not the king we want.
He's his own, like, master of whispers. You know what really gutted me? You want to know?
Let me think.
You're not going to get it.
Okay.
When they were sitting around at the small council and they're really, like, they're talking about, you know, sewage systems and rebuilding and really boring governmental things that, like, that's what the small council should be doing. And it's like, no one would have loved that more than Varys.
Oh, justice for Varys was never fucking served.
It was, though, because he served the realm, and the realm is in an okay place.
Agreed.
He's looking down, he's proud of how everything happened. Unfortunately, he's not there to enjoy it. That, like, hurt for me. He would have been a wonderful seat at that table.
You know who I feel like I really didn't want to be sitting there is fucking Bronn. Because he's a traitorous little fuck, and now he's like the richest man in the realms, but I don't give a shit. He's evil. He's not a good guy.
Yeah, he was definitely...
When Tyrion found Jaime and Cersei, which, by the way, is just, like, so far-fetched that you would find 2 corpses in, like, a city completely burned alive, and, like, their corpses were completely fine, like, they looked like they were just sleeping. That was very sweet and quite sad.
No, and, like, the way that they died, and this is also what's crazy, the way that they died was, like, so sweet, and I guess if I had to choose, like, maybe, like, ideal, just, like, a brick to the head. But what's crazy is the 2 really, like, epic love sagas that culminate in the end are Cersei and Jaime. and Jon and Daenerys. And
Yeah,
it's like,
all
we only
family.
love his incestual love. And
Maybe that's the message. Family over everything.
maybe that's the message. And like at the end, we have no love stories. You know, Sansa's Queen of the North.
Yeah,
I mean,
in the beginning of the season, you were fully convinced that everyone was going to die with a lover or like end with a lover.
yeah, or even when Sansa was like walking down with her, you know, dress, and of course, you know, I guess it's like the patriarchy in me. I was assuming she was getting married.
Oh, me too.
I was like, she's marrying Tyrion.
I thought she was marrying Tyrion. Yes.
And I was like so excited.
When Tyrion was like, everyone loves a story, I was like, a love story, Sansa, will you marry me? I really thought that they were going to end up together. Like, and that was his like big, like romantic gesture was a proposal in front of everyone.
No, and then that would bridge the North to the Six Kingdoms and, you know, and keep it. I mean, they'll always have the bridge because there's both Starks in both places. But then also it would have been like at the beginning how Jon Arryn was the hand of the king and Lysa was living elsewhere.
Yes.
Like Sansa could have stayed in the North while her husband was the hand in the South.
Yeah, and now it's like there's a Stark above the wall, there's a Stark in the North, there's a Stark. So
And
the
I
Starks
actually
won.
thought that the way that Jon's story ended like made so much sense. First of all,
Horrible.
he is a crow till the end.
He is a fucking highborn. And now what the hell is there to do beyond the wall now?
No, but freedom. Like that's the only way he could be free.
Why?
So it's because he can't stay in King's Landing.
well, because he killed
is
Dany.
unsullied. And I said last week that they're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to? Their army was just like so blood hungry.
Grey Worm was like such a little shit, like little.
He
loser.
lost. He lost his love.
There was
He
just-
lost his queen. He had nothing to live for other than to revenge.
There was just so many things that happened in the first 8 seasons that you thought would be important that literally ended up like not mattering whatsoever. Like what the fuck was the point in the girl with no face?
One, Walder Frey. Two,
Okay, that's what Ben said, but it's like okay, her killing Walder Frey was like a nice revenge thing for her. It wasn't integral.
No, it wasn't integral, but it was a nice revenge thing. And learning how to be an assassin and being sneaky like a cat to kill the Night King.
When she was like, "I'm not coming with you," I was like, "Finally, she's gonna go to Gendry."
I thought she was going to go to Bravos, but I was like, she's done. I thought she was going to go back to the east to like be an assassin, but
So
she's
dumb,
going
her,
to be
like aboard
Christopher
this ship.
Columbus.
Like it's so there like and. There was also just a bunch of things, not only that didn't make sense, but like that didn't end. Like, where's the dragon?
the dragon. Oh yeah,
He flew east. Like, okay, where?
Bran's going to find him.
Totally. Oh yeah.
At least he's got a useful
I thought
skill.
at that meeting he was fully gonna like roll his eyes behind his head and like start getting fucked up.
So many memes that were like Drogon burned the Iron Throne because he knew Bran already had a chair.
Mean?
No, but that's true. Like he was
He's practical.
He was practical.
There's
I mean, the
just-
burning of the throne was just
Wild.
epic. It hurt though, because it was like, but who's gonna sit on the Iron Throne?
But it was a metaphor because like he was trying to kill the person who killed Dany, which would make you think he'll kill Jon, but no, it was really the throne that killed her.
Oh my God, she lost her goddamn mind.
She lost her goddamn mind when her fucking eyebrows were going nuts when she was talking to Jon, and I didn't see that coming, him killing her, because he's such a pussy. I didn't think he was actually going to do anything.
Also, something that didn't make a lot of sense to me is everyone like keeps saying that the long winter is coming, and like yes, of course, it also means the White Walkers, which have been defeated, but it's like fucking freezing, and how are they going to survive beyond the wall for like now we have 10 years of winter?
Well, so I totally thought like as the episode, I was waiting for fucking something. I'm like, as their episode's ending, there's a White Walker. Like I'm like, give me something.
Right,
Like,
I thought there would be something.
just like so that it can pose a question, like kind of how Shutter Island ends or whatever, one of those movies where it's like, do you believe he is the prisoner or is he not? It's like now we can for years to come talk about what we think happened with that one White Walker who was left.
Yeah, I'm sure Jon just killed him. He has
Well,
no time.
here's what I thought was gonna happen. When the dragon picks up Daenerys' corpse, I'm like, she's becoming the Night Queen.
Oh my God, no. Or I thought that like Jon could have gotten away with it. How would Dany would have disappeared.
How did they know that it was him?
He must have turned himself in because
he's such a pussy.
Because he's annoying.
Oh my God,
he doesn't
can't
know how to
stand
lie.
him.
Remember when he couldn't lie to Cersei?
No.
Remember when Cersei said that she would bring her armies when they
Oh, yes.
were done fighting the dead, if Jon would not pledge allegiance to anyone. He was like, Dany's my queen.
He's
and she
so
was like,
losery.
she was like, that was really sweet, but you couldn't just lie.
You know, it was just really interesting who at the end, like who mattered. Because we've been through so many characters in the first 8 seasons, and like we thought Ned Stark was important, he wasn't. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like I love her, but like Brienne of Tarth, like sitting, like she made it.
She is head of the Kingsguard.
Good for her and like a great feminist moment. But the memes about what she wrote in the book were so funny.
I just saw someone commented that she was writing to Sammy's sweetheart.
No, the memes were really funny, and it was like sweet that she like because the whole time it was like he didn't do anything because he'll always be known as Kingslayer. And it was like a sweet, like a nice way to like close the book.
Yeah.
But oh
and
my God.
I knew before they showed us, I thought to myself, he died protecting his queen.
Yeah,
and
also,
then that's what it was.
That would make no sense because like Brienne was in love with him and like she would never write something nice.
No,
like,
she was in love. Like I think that she would. She's the bigger woman, but it's like
literally.
What's really fucked up is like she was supposed to end up with Tormund, and like that was just totally glazed over.
I just feel like maybe we need to like set her up a profile on like OkCupid, like the app, and just like get to work because what I've heard is really premium about OkCupid. It's the only dating app that finds you someone based on who you are and what you're into. It's like who would we get for brand of choice? Someone who's like into physical combat, obviously.
Maybe Braun.
Someone whose like type is like a bigger woman. When it comes to dating, you know exactly what you like. The OkCupid dating app has tons of fun questions about the things you care about, and it's your own answers that lead to fascinating conversations and even better dates. It's so simple. You match with someone on what really matters to you based on the answers to your questions. So like they have a huge range of questions. They literally ask you like, what do you think about like Russia? You know, like something like that, or something as simple as like, do you pay extra for guac? You know, like things that's more important to me than Russia. So the OkCupid app finds you someone based on who you are, what you're into. Check it out. Go to the OkCupid app, available in all the app stores, premium. If you find someone, like, we get credit for it, right?
I hope so.
If you marry someone you met on OkCupid?
Yeah, I think we'll get, like, credit in the eyes of the seven.
Yeah, right, the old and the new.
Yeah, the old gods and the new.
Yeah,
And it's, at the end of the day, which gods prevailed? You know, because it was really a battle, and also, where does the Lord of Light come into everything?
Yeah, we never got justice. It's like, was it real? I mean, I guess it was real. Like, she proved that.
And the Lord of Light was really, like, there to take down the Night King. He doesn't care about who sits on the Iron Throne.
Right. It's like, it doesn't even matter. All the people are dead, so who cares?
Yeah.
Oh, but it was interesting to see, actually, like, I've heard that there are 7 kingdoms, but, like, I couldn't name them. And then when I saw all the people sitting there, I'm like, okay, Dorne. Winterfell.
Dorne, Winterfell.
King's Landing.
King's Landing, the Reach, which is Highgarden, then the Vale, Lannisport, and...
Oh, we have to talk about Robin Aaron.
Oh my God.
He's hot.
He's hot.
The memes about him were so funny too.
There's something in the
breast milk.
It took me a few beats to like put it together.
I didn't even realize it was him until I saw it on Twitter.
Okay, so now let's play a fun game where it's like, of course, everyone has to get married and bear children eventually, even except for Brad. Whenever, do you see the memes where it's like no one? Sansa.
But Brad has no dick.
His dick doesn't work.
Yeah, who are we pairing people up with? I know they're cousins, but like I actually feel like a union between Robin Aaron and Sansa would be like so powerful.
But he's nuts.
And the North doesn't do that. He didn't look nuts. His mom finally died, and he was cool to be on his own, and he grew up.
No, he like is definitely not okay from being breastfed till he was 8.
Right.
But he like looks good.
Yeah.
He's good on the outside, but definitely not on the inside.
There's really like this is such a relatable problem. Like there are no good guys out there for Sansa.
No, I know. She needs
OkCupid too.
No, but I really ship still like Sansa and Gendry, and it's like if Arya's never coming back, like can't they just get together?
Yeah, I don't understand like Arya's purpose in this world. Because I thought it was like to get justice for her family, and like she had the opportunity. She was like, I came here to kill Cersei, but Dany got here first. I'm like, actually, no, you got there first, and you could have done it. So it's like, I thought her mission in life was like to kill all the people and like avenge her family. She had the opportunity, she didn't. So then I thought, I'm like, okay, all of this is like a love story for her and Gendry. She had the opportunity, she didn't. So it's like when she has the opportunity to do whatever she wants, she like gets on a boat and goes to nowhere.
I think it's all about her just wanting to do whatever she wants, because when
she was a kid.
When she was a kid, she was like, I'm not a lady. She never said what she was. I think she wanted to be a knight at one point, but like she just wanted options.
Yeah, she didn't want to stick to the patriarchy.
She just wanted to be able to do whatever she felt like doing. And you know what? I guess I can respect that. Now, Samuel Tarly, he's with Gilly. He's spoken for.
He's spoken for. He left a plastic water bottle on set, and he's getting roasted on Twitter as well.
It's so janky.
It's so janky.
And it's so unfair. People are like, they really rushed through this season. Look, there's a water bottle. They did not rush through this season. The level of production, like, that's not fair for you to like say they rushed through the season because there's a water bottle. And now everyone should go through all the other seasons. I'm sure there's so many inconsistencies. You just want to find problems with season 8 because you're a hater.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch Friends, the inconsistencies are so crazy and so obvious, like to another level that I can't believe like that show actually came from like a legitimate like production studio because it's a joke.
Right. Someone just said, honestly, the funniest tweet I saw was like Tormund and Robin Aaron really making the case for breastfeeding for an unreasonable amount of time.
No, totally. Tormund, and when John was going back up to the wall, I was like fucking depressed. I'm like, this sucks. And then I saw like Tormund's little red head, and I was like, maybe it's not so bad.
Maybe John is North through and through. And when John was like maybe gonna be king still before it was Bran, I was like, John in King's Landing's just not working for me.
Yeah, he like couldn't change his clothes. He was
couldn't wear his wolf on his neck.
Yeah. And that scene when they were all just like saying bye to John, they were all just like repeating lines from the first episode. You know, it's like, we get it. It's full circle. Like, you don't have to make it so like obvious.
Yeah. No.
I can't believe the show's over. I'm not going to lie. Like, it is a huge burden off my shoulders. Like, there were 6 episodes. I was home and ready to watch for one of them. Like, my life is just not built for, like, watching a TV show on time and one that you can't, like, get spoiled if you don't watch the second that it starts. So it's like, I'm so fine with the show being over. Like, peace out, bitch. Like, you did me dirty and I'm done.
Did not do me dirty. And here's the other thing. Even though things didn't happen the way we all would have liked and some character developments didn't pan out in your preferential way, I don't feel like I have any question marks. Like, I feel good. I feel like all loose ends were tied. There's no, like, remaining questions or, like, this doesn't, like, so even if it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, everything really worked out. And I was worried that I would have all these lingering, like, you know, just, what about this? What about that? But they really just tied it up so nicely. And that was my biggest concern, that I wouldn't be able to move past. But I feel, like, so satisfied. Yeah. I didn't think that I would. That was my concern.
What's funny is that of all the, like, the proposed theories, nobody ever thought that Bran was going to end up being the king. But now if you think about it, like, we can never figure out, like, what was so important about the three-eyed raven and, like, what Bran's fucking purpose was, because he was sticking around, like, putting his eyes behind his head. Like, we could never figure it out. Now,
like, it actually was helpful sometimes.
Right, but it makes so much sense. But, like, he was self-serving. Like, when he found out that Jon was a Targaryen, like, he told everyone, knowing that it would make Dany crazy, to clear room for him in his wheelchair to get on the throne, you know? So, I'm not.
But say you were Bran, and like maybe that was technically self-serving. Except I mean, it's easy to think that it was now. But he has this information about Jon.
No, of course.
Should he not have told him?
No, he totally should have. But
just to keep Dany from not going mad. If she's so fucking delicate,
what
she
I'm
shouldn't
saying
be
is that
ruler.
while it's a letdown, it does make sense. Bran being king.
Yeah,
like, we never figured out like what the fuck his purpose was. Why did the Night King want him so much? Like, what the hell is a three-eyed raven? Okay, now I got.
And like, how can it serve? But no.
What do you think I came here for?
Yeah. Power, bitch. No, I'm honestly, I really was here for it. Like, no one can betray him. He can see everything. He thoroughly understands the past, and that's what's most important for the future.
We can't
Which
move
is
forward.
why I was a history major. Maybe I should sit on the throne.
Are you the three-eyed raven? Show me how you put your eyes behind your head.
I can't do it like you can. Oh, wait.
Am I doing it? Why are you picking your head up?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it might move my eyes back.
I'm a warg.
Yeah.
It actually
and
hurts.
also the fact that he has no personal ties, he doesn't identify as Bran Stark, it helps because he's not going to be biased in any way.
Yeah.
He really is an impartial leader who is well-versed in the history of the Seven Kingdoms.
He's starting to look a lot like the OG three-eyed raven.
And the OG three-eyed raven lived for like 1,000 years, so maybe we
Right.
don't have to decide on a new ruler anytime soon.
Right. It was a good idea.
Was,
I'll give it to Tyrion. It was a good idea.
And you know what? Stories really are what unite people. Like, literally, me and my friends, all we do is, when we hang out, is talk about stories from college. And, like,
yeah.
And
people love, like, a backstory, you know, like a triumphant moment.
And I think all throughout the 8 seasons, they were like, and Varys loves to say, power resides where men think it resides. But is it armies? Is it gold? No, maybe it really is stories is what unites people.
Maybe.
And I think that that's a nice message. And that's what we do on the show. We tell stories. So here we are uniting people.
And that was our second story of the day. I can't believe only second one. So much happened this week.
I know. And I had one more thought, but I guess I'm going to have to let it go.
Well, we're officially closing the chapter on Game of Thrones. I hope you've enjoyed our recaps. Somewhat famous recaps, I would say. People all around the world have told us that their husbands only listen to the show when we talk about Game of Thrones. So I will miss that. But you know what? Like, I'm ready for the world to move on to something new.
You're being too harsh.
No, I'm like really more invested in the James Charles of it all.
Okay, so what would have been your ideal ending?
That's what I'm saying. I don't have an ideal. There was no one I was championing, so I was only let down because like Bran is such a weirdo. But it does make sense. So like I respect the thought behind him being chosen. But like I don't know, of all like the epic moments on the show, you just expected the end to be like one of those epic moments. Like
Do
the
you
Red
think
Wedding.
Jon killing Dany was epic?
Like it should have been, but like. Jon was pissing me off. Like, honestly, I wanted him dead more than I wanted her dead.
I thought he was going to not kill her in that moment and then have to kill her later on. I didn't think it was going to be so swift.
Soon. You know, it was fine.
Okay. You're a tough critic, my friend. I mean, the whole world is a tough critic. Like,
yeah, there was nothing they could have done that would have made us love it because the reason why the show was so epic is before anyone cared about it, like, they were killing off people left and right. Like, there was no expectation. Now it has branded itself as the most, you know, unexpected, amazing, crazy show, and there was literally nothing they could have done that would have A, made sense and blown our minds.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make sense. Okay.
And also, George Martin has said, because people are really hating on the writers for this ending, but he said that the ending to the books isn't going to be much different, other than like secondary characters might have a different story. But I think that means that Bran ends up on the chair.
Throne.
No,
Okay.
there's no throne anymore. Okay, I mean, I can't promise that I'm ever going to talk about Game of Thrones again in this episode or ever again, because it's just completely...
Iconic.
It's iconic. It's just top
Historic.
of mind. And it's really historic. The biggest TV show that's ever been and maybe ever will be.
Sure.
I wonder what's going to be next. It's just...
I feel like the one before this was like Breaking Bad, like when the whole world was on its feet, like ready to watch the finale, you know?
Yeah.
Not really of this magnitude, but I do wonder what will be next as well. Maybe it's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Maybe
Maybe it's SNL.
Maybe it's SNL because Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost are engaged. Actress Scarlett Johansson and SNL co-head writer Colin Jost are getting hitched. Johansson's publicist confirmed on Sunday that the couple is engaged, but has not yet set a date. Johansson and Jost first made headlines after Page Six exclusively reported that ScarJo, who was going through a divorce at the time, was spotted kissing Jost after her appearance on SNL. Sweet.
Scarlett Johansson, if that's not her like bachelorette
Right.
hashtag or something, I'll be really disappointed. Even though like he's a comedy writer, like maybe he could come up with something a little bit better. I'm really excited for them. I can't believe they've only been dating for 2 years, because like we've only been doing this show for 2 years, and I feel like we've like been talking about like Colin Jost like being the 1 hour a week worker like forever.
Right. I like them. I think they're really sweet. I love how low key they are. It's
Me
like
too.
I barely believed they were dating for so long because we never like saw anything
Yeah.
from them. And now they're engaged. Like that sounds like the real deal to me. And I
mean, I have a lot of
I'm happy
respect
for
for
them.
Colin Jost ever since I saw him in a little black t-shirt at the end of one of the SNL episodes, and like I've never seen someone like bulging out of a t-shirt more than he was. So honestly, here for it.
no, he's always like impressing me when it's like I'm so hard on him.
No, we just have like really low expectations for Colin Jost because he only works 1 hour a week. And by the way, like we know that he doesn't work 1 hour a week. Like don't get your bragas in a twist. We just have low expectations for him. So like anytime he does something like kind of funny or like cute, we're like, oh my God, Colin.
And I know we were really worried at the beginning of their relationship because he only works 1 hour a week. You know, he's home a lot and he's probably like annoying.
He's gonna be like a stay-at-home dad.
Right. But I'm glad that they were able to work through that and like figure out a schedule that works for them.
Yeah, and like now he's going on tour, so like I think he'll be gone like a little bit more.
Is he going on tour?
Actually maybe it's Michael Che. I get them confused, like because they both like have
Have the same job 1 hour a week.
and mediocre Instagrams that like I come across every now and then
Oh, got it.
where they announce their tours. Speaking of my tour, head to girlwithnojob.com to get tickets. I'm heading to Lexington, Kentucky, Minneapolis. Sorry, sold out. A lot of the shows are sold out. We added some more, but there's tickets available at girlwithnojob.com to some of them. So I can't wait to see you this summer.
Speaking of self-promotion, my presets are available at JackieOFlow.com, and people are loving them. So
People are loving them.
have you been looking at the
Of
hashtag
course.
and
Well, I
my
see it
stories?
from you
Yeah.
sharing them.
It's just been so positive, so wonderful, and I'm so glad everyone loves them as much as I do, and we're just brightening up Instagram one day at a time.
You're revolutionizing the field.
I've gotten so many comments that people are just like so glad that I'm, really turning around like the whole washed out orange photos trend.
I couldn't agree more.
And we're here for lightness and brightness, and summer is here, winter was coming.
Lightness and brightness. Oh my.
Right, exactly. Did you use them in Israel?
I did, but I told you I only had the indoor pack. And
But I gave you the code.
I know, and I was just like, I got busy. I'm sorry. I'm going to do it today.
That's not nice.
I'm sorry. Well, you want to actually know what it
Do
was?
you have pictures that you still need to post? I'll
No,
edit
it
them
was
for
that
you.
TPG UK came with us, Nikki, and
Oh,
he's
and-
a photographer, and he edited them all.
He
in
has
like,
a vibe. I saw them.
So he sent me the pictures already edited, so I wasn't going to add a preset.
No, you can't. They would
Yeah,
have been.
that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. I saw the vibe, and I was like, okay, I guess that is like an Israeli vibe.
It's a particular
It was
vibe.
definitely
It's very
like-
Middle Eastern.
Shooky vibes.
Yeah, shooky for sure.
Okay, next
shooky
story.
vibe had me shook.
Next story, Claudia just sent to me, so I haven't had a chance to read it. So I want to read it because it looks fucking
Wild.
wild. BuzzFeed News has put out a report.
It's a huge expose.
Leaked records reveal Tony Robbins berated abuse victims and former followers accuse him of sexual advances. Okay, I'm not
This
crying.
is one
I
of those
just have
things
allergies.
that's like such a letdown if it's true, you know?
Let me get through a couple paragraphs. Tony Robbins claims he has helped millions of fans overcome some of life's darkest difficulties, but leaked records reveal he has used his fame to berate victims of rape and violence, while female former staffers and followers have accused him of inappropriate sexual advances. When Tony Robbins leaps on stage in arenas around the world under strobe lights and pulsing speakers, he's greeted by thousands of screaming fans. They clap with him, jump with him, and when he puffs his chest and lets out a primal roar, they roar with him too. The world's most famous self-help guru whips crowds into fits of euphoria few pop stars could dream of. But many of his fans are grappling with life's most serious problems. Victims of sexual and physical abuse, along with people who struggle with addiction and have mental illnesses, pay thousands of dollars to see him on the promise he has the power to, quote, transform your life and, quote, rewire your brain. At the core of Robbins' teachings is the message that his followers should not see themselves as victims and should instead view their pain as something they have the power to, quote, destroy. He claims to have revolutionized millions of lives with this philosophy while building a multi-billion-dollar business and working with celebrities from Donald Trump and Bill Clinton to Oprah and the Kardashians. Access to his most exclusive membership program has cost as much as $85,000 a year.
Oh!
But behind that dazzling veneer, Robbins guards his empire with intense secrecy. Employees are bound by strict confidentiality agreements, and audiences who attend his multi-day coaching camps must sign contracts forbidding them from recording what goes on inside. A year-long investigation by Buzzfeed News, based on leaked recordings, internal documents, and dozens of interviews with fans and insiders, reveals how Robbins has berated abuse victims and subjected his followers to unorthodox and potentially dangerous techniques. And former female fans and staffers have accused him of inappropriate sexual advances. Two former followers who went on to work for Robbins provided BuzzFeed News with signed statements swearing under oath that they felt he had sexually harassed them by repeatedly pursuing them after they made clear they weren't interested. Two more women who worked as his assistants said Robbins expected them to work alone with him when he was naked in his hotel room or in the shower. And another former employee said she was fired after having a consensual sexual relationship with Robbins. The events described by all five women took place in the 90s and early 2000s when Robbins' fame was skyrocketing and before he married his second wife. Secret recordings and transcripts from inside his events reveal Robbins has unleashed expletive-laden tirades on survivors of rape and domestic abuse, domestic violence, and inviting them to share their stories in front of a vast audience. Quote, "She's fucking using all this stuff to try and control men," he said after one woman said she had been raped. When in 2018, another woman said her husband was physically violent and emotionally abusive, Robbins accused her of, quote, lying and asked, "Does he put up with you when you've been a crazy bitch?"
Oh!
Okay, this is a very long article, and, everyone is able to read it. I must read the entire thing, but this is breaking today, so we thought we should touch on it.
I don't know Tony Robbins. He's a motivational speaker. I don't know why I thought it was like a Catholic thing, but maybe it's not.
I thought it had a religious element as well.
Yeah, but it just sounds like he's like a motivational speaker, like
yeah,
for everyone. So I guess there's no excuse as to why I don't know.
Oh yeah, he's from Shallow Hell.
Yeah, and honestly, this is no surprise. Look at what he did to him in that elevator.
He did great things.
Yeah, he did. But he also manipulated someone's mind without giving them permission.
This is really creepy. These are very serious allegations, and he's so massive that if this is all true,
It gives me like Scientology vibes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy, but I don't know why I'm like not surprised.
I know.
Like when you're so powerful and like when you're a motivational speaker.
I'm surprised.
But when you're a motivational speaker or like a religious figure, like you get this like God complex. And like people literally, I've seen it on the Bierman stories. They go to his like, it's like a 12-hour like in an arena like session. It's like people fucking ride or die for him. So like of course it's gonna give you a complex. Like people literally act like you're their God.
But it also seems like a lot of this stuff happened in the 90s when he was coming up. So it's like,
oh, it's a James Charles, like, power-hungry moment.
This is not James Charles.
No, I'm kidding.
This is, if true, very, very horrible. I'm going to finish reading the article after the show, and I'll give you all my thoughts tomorrow.
But we wanted to warn everyone, stay away from Tony Robbins.
Yeah, and read up, because, wow, if this is true, this is major.
This is real.
Because it's not even like he's in a powerful position, he's abusing his power. It's like his power is connected to like changing people's lives positively, and like if it's the complete opposite,
right?
Like that is, it's like when Harvey Weinstein is an abuser. It's like, okay, he was a movie maker and like an asshole.
Right. But he never actually like worked on movies. Like it doesn't affect the way we watch his movies. You know what I mean?
No, but it's like, it's not like he was pretending to be like the most positive, life-changing, transformative guy.
Right. Like the victims of his abuse are victims for sure, but it's also like the countless people who like invested their life in him, like, and like he became a part of their family, you know?
Yeah. No, it's like a Catholic Church situation where it like questions everything that you believe.
Totally.
Okay. That's all on that until tomorrow. Next up, Lamar Odom admits using fake penis to pass Olympics drug test. Okay, Lamar Odom's book is coming out, and it sounds lit and wild.
It sounds like a bestseller, actually.
No, for sure. And it sounds like he's not holding back, except for the part where he's like keeps talking about like cocaine, like it was the only thing that he did, which we spoke about.
Yeah.
It may not be the weirdest thing Lamar Odom has ever done, but in 2004, the NBA champ wore a prosthetic penis to pass a drug test for the upcoming Olympics in Athens. Odom makes the revelation in his new memoir, Darkness to Light, according to People magazine. There was no way I was going to pass, the former husband of Khloe Kardashian writes of the requisite drug test. I had been smoking weed every day that summer. Panic set in. Some online research on how to beat a drug test led him to order, quote, a giant rubber black, I think, cock to arrive the next day, he wrote. It's C with a dash. I'm assuming that's cock. At test time, he asked his trainer to donate a clean urine sample, filled the prosthetic, and used it to fake pee into a cup as a NBA security official watched, he admitted. Welcome to Team USA, the bamboozled official told him. Also in the memoir, Odom admits that he began cheating on Kardashian soon after the wedding. Quote, I couldn't keep my dick in my pants or the coke out of my nose, he writes, blaming the lethal cocktail of sudden celebrity, his diminishing NBA career, and his addiction. Wow. I mean, is it really that easy? Was the official watching him?
I was going to say, is the official complicit is here?
How? No, I don't think so. He sounds like he fooled him, but so he put on a penis on his existing penis? How close is the official?
I feel like it's like a keychain.
Maybe it's like
around your penis.
Or maybe it's like an angles thing. Like if the official's here, he could put the penis to the left
it's easy. If you're a girl, you have to go in a
penis.
stall. But I guess the urinal makes it seem like you could just do it anywhere.
No. I think you still like go in a bathroom like a human being.
No, I think they watch you like from the stall from behind you if you're in a urinal.
Okay, so they're saying you watch from behind. So
well, because if he needed a fake penis, he could have just put like a water bottle in his pocket if he was going into the bathroom completely alone.
No, so it's like the man was watching the peen.
Yeah.
I'm a man or a woman.
Yeah, I need more logistics here from Lamar. Like, how big was the stall? Was he outside the door?
How far away was the official? Was the prosthetic penis like a slide on? Did it have the pee in it?
Now, I want to say something controversial. Like, does this in any way impact the medals or the standing of that year's team? Because it's like in dodgeball, when Bernice was on steroids, they were disqualified from the semifinals. God damn it, Bernice. So I want to say that the same rule applies here.
I don't know. You know, that's a really good question.
Hopefully tomorrow's headline will be, after Lamar Odom's shocking revelation, Team USA has to give back, 2 gold medals from 2012.
But didn't he also participate in another Olympics, because in Athens in 2004, I didn't know who Lamar Odom was.
Oh, that's
But
true.
I remember he was in an Olympics with LeBron. They were wearing the berets from who was it? Ralph Lauren. I think it was London, maybe?
So
I don't
maybe
know.
was he clean then?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe we have to get this book.
2004 is a really long time.
You know what book I just ordered? Actually, I just received as well. Howard Stern. It's biography.
Ooh, written by autobiography?
Autobiography. I keep seeing headlines about it, which like don't mean so much to me because like I don't know like so much of Howard Stern's life and like whatever, but I want to get to know it because I think he's just like so interesting.
That is a fascinating read. He is interesting.
Yeah, so I'm going to read it. The book is so heavy and there was only hardcover and like I don't know how I'm going to carry it.
Can we catch up on some Bravo shows that I just
Of course,
caught up on?
because that was the Fast Five stories that you needed to know, and honestly, you needed to know them. Like,
Truly.
some days you don't need to know them, and we're pretty honest about that, but today you needed to know, so.
Okay, let's just start really easy with like the low-hanging fruit in New York. Nothing happened, but I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I love these ladies. There's something about them that like nothing can happen because nothing did happen, but I just like really enjoyed it.
I disagree.
And I found it interesting about Barbara's sexuality. Like she was being really open about it.
Yeah. I disagree. I thought the episode actually, a lot happened. It was the first interesting episode, and it was giving, like, up until now, every single episode of Housewives of New York has been pretty much worthless because, like, the women don't even hang out. But that conversation at Luann's house was just like...
but they cut it up right in the middle, to be continued.
Of course, because that's the only interesting footage they have, was unbelievably telling.
And by the way, Bethany was being such a good arguer. She was like, that's how I choose to live my life. Like, you choose to be a cabaret star, I choose to go home early and be with my kid. Like, why is yours more valuable than mine?
No, I'm a completely Team Bethany. Luann's being out of control.
Out of control. Even though I do have one thing to say in defense of Luann, that all the women are getting on about her for not coming down to the party before her performance. And it's like, I couldn't agree with that less. She's a performer. What is she gonna do? Like hang out with the kids like at the party at the bar?
Okay.
I don't agree with that, but they could have went up. And she should have invited them.
They could have went up. If they're gonna be there for 3 hours before she performs and she's gonna make them stay down, then she should go down.
Agreed.
Also, it was a 2-song set at a warehouse party. It wasn't like she was performing at Radio City and she's going into the audience.
No, I agree. And her just like demanding that Bethany be there to celebrate her successes because Bethany helped her. It's like, no, Bethany did enough for you. Fuck off.
And her insisting that the party was fabulous and they should have been enjoying themselves. The party was not fabulous.
Jackie, her insisting that her house is fabulous and they should all like be jealous of her. The house was not fabulous.
Yeah, it was just like a lot of no one can like talk straight to her, and like she's being very countessy.
Yeah.
But you know what? She's also keeping the show interesting. So I'm
grateful.
I'm not mad about it, but I'm shocked that she's behaving that way after everything that she's been through.
Yeah, it's a complete lack of self-awareness that's making for great television, but not making for good friendships.
No, and like last season, like I rode hard for Bethany and Luann.
Yeah.
And that version of me, a year ago me, is upset. But I was also upset by this whole season so far. So present me is grateful for that episode.
Me too. Like, I'm really like holding out for like a Bethany Luann like friendship that lasts a lifetime. And while we're not getting that, I try and remember where we came from. Lyanne, married man. Like, it could be so much worse in terms of Bethany Luann relationship. So I'm grateful for where we're at because we've come a long way.
No. We're going down a dark road now. And now we're getting to Life is Not a Cabaret. And I don't know where they stand today, but Luann owes a lot of apologies. And that's not her strong suit.
And you know, it's been a while since we've had Luann at a reunion, and they just filmed the reunion, and I do think it will be really interesting because she has a lot to answer for from last season too.
Yeah,
like she was gone.
Yeah, but she's not. That's not her thing. Is being
answering. Yeah,
you know, and she's a lot. But
I think she gets that from Lisa Vanderpump.
I wanted to talk about Dorinda. Oh my gosh, so Dorinda.
Talking about her new neighborhood. She said she was going to cry every morning she wakes up.
I was laughing. So I was like, I didn't know how to feel. Then the next day, I'm walking down the street. And this man's walking in the opposite direction of me, and I just recognize his mustache. And I'm like, how do I know that mustache? And it was the florist that she was like talking about his mustache. I literally like freaked out. It was on the night before, and like I wanted to go and take a picture and like put it in the toasters, but that's not my strong suit. But I was so mind blown.
That is hysterical. Like, they're just doing so many weird scenes this season. Like so in-depth Ramona shopping at Jonathan Adler. Like, literally, like 10 minutes.
Because there's not a lot going on. Like,
but I want to go into more about Ramona and her second set of friends, because that's fascinating.
Yeah.
And Sonia is like, in her own way, she's like a weirdo, but she's very clear and very lucid on Ramona and how Ramona treats his women like her second-tier friends, even though at the end of the day, like, they're really going to be the only ones who are going to be there for her at the end of the day. And these like fake fair weather socialite friends that she has who are throwing her a birthday party and who she met at the Angel Ball, like, are not real.
Yeah. I don't know.
You see Ramona's Instagram stories from Nantucket?
I did. We'll get into it. But I just want to say, maybe I love playing devil's advocate for Ramona because she doesn't ever explain herself, so it just leaves everything up into interpretation. Maybe, here's a scenario. Her socialite friends want to throw her this birthday at Scarpetta. If she invites the girls, cameras will come. They don't want that. Ramona doesn't want that. I mean, not Ramona, of course, wants that. They don't want that. She can't invite the girls. Maybe just Sonia, but then maybe they'll still film. So no. It's going to be a no for her.
It's a fair assessment. I need to talk about Ramona in Nantucket this weekend being blackout.
Being blackout with Dr. Sharon Giese.
Yeah, but just did you see her in the bathroom? You know you're in Nantucket. You hear the seagulls and the birds in the bathroom.
Oh, no, I didn't. I only saw her on the plane.
Oh, my God, no, Jackie. She's standing in the bathroom in Nantucket trying to show that, like, Nantucket's so beautiful because you can be in a bathroom stall and you hear the waves.
Okay.
And she can't speak. She is slurgo to the max. She's like, you know, love Nantucket. You can be in the bathroom with the seagulls. It's so funny. I will send it to you. It's hysterical. She, like, got lit as fuck in Nantucket this weekend.
Do you want to go back to Nantucket?
Not at all. Like, there are many places I never want to go to. The Netherlands is now one of them. And so is Nantucket.
I think we should go back to Nantucket at some point. Maybe when we have kids, like, they would like it.
And only, like, the way Ramona does it, because she stayed at a big house.
But that's where we experience. No, we didn't experience anti-Semitism in Nantucket. We just felt very Jewish.
Yeah, like, we were, like, self-consciously anti-Semitic. Like, you know what I mean? We felt really out of place.
Yeah.
Okay. Really, that was all that happened. I don't think there's anything else to discuss in terms of Beverly Hills.
No, and in terms of New York.
Oh, but Ramona saying, I wish you just skipped the after party for Victoria's Secret.
Oh, she's hilarious.
Bethany was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that you would, no, not the after party,
the red carpet.
Flip that around. Would you ever miss a red carpet to come to my like fake charity event?
It was pure comedy.
It was truly. Is Ramona performing at the Beacon?
I think she is. I want to talk about Beverly Hills, and I wanted to ask you a touring-related question because I was watching Erica's show.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I always think of Luann and what she's doing, and what's so iconic about it and successful is the fact that she brings the Real Housewives experience IRL. It's like a traveling Real Housewives museum, and fans of the show can go and be a part of like Real Housewives.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's the first and only housewife to really do that. But then I was like, no, Erica Jane does that. And her shows are a come-to-life Real Housewives experience. And I've never seen either show, actually, so I can't speak to it. But I feel like Erica Jane, you know, she's there the whole time. She's a performer, etc. She has the whatever.
Yeah.
They both are great shows, I'm sure. Different, but both a high level of production. Mm-hmm. So how come Erica does a tour for her is maybe like 8 shows in like ish small venues, like less than 1,000 people at the Globe. From a touring perspective, what is the difference and why is Luann's so much more?
Luann's tour is like, and I think like this is why she's gotten such a big head. It's super legit. Like I follow along with it just because I'm like interested, and I feel like anytime she goes to a market, it's a really good test for me. Like because we have a similar audience, it's on a smaller scale. So she started out just doing a bunch of shows and like turned a lot of heads in like the random venues she would do, and she would sell a ton of tickets. And her entire tour got picked up by Live Nation. So like they're booking, they're doing the venues, they're negotiating her deals. So like her tour is completely legit. It's way more legit than mine. It's just as legit as any other cabaret star, but there is no other cabaret star. But it's top tier. Like she has the best promoters, the best venues, the best everything. Like she's really, and that's just based on a few shows where the sales were crazy. And the only thing people in live events / like concerts care about is ticket selling. Like if you sell tickets, people will care. So that's why Luann's is so legit. With Erica's, I don't know if it's not that it's a priority for her or there's just not as much demand, but it's just not nearly as big. I saw on the marquee it said Full Screen Presents, which is not nearly as top tier as like Live Nation, AEG, Golden Voice, they do Coachella. There's like, so Full Screen's like a digital, I don't know.
But I just wonder why. I feel like maybe she doesn't like, she does the tour, like she does the shows because like that's Erica Jane, but like she doesn't want to be touring.
Yeah. And also it's not her own, like Luann latched onto this cabaret thing because like it was getting her out of jail. It was paying her child, like it was everything. This tour had to work for Luann. For Erica, it's like one of a million things that makes her money, and it's probably the hardest and probably makes her the least amount of money.
That makes sense. Okay. I feel better, even though like I would love to see an Erica Jane concert.
That was a great episode. It was really just like a lot of filler, but I had such a good time. Like felt like I was there. It looked like such a fun show. I need to go to one of her shows.
I had such a good time in the episode. I agree until the last minute where Lisa Vanderpump looks to be taking a lie detector test.
Oh my God, that looked so stupid. And you know what? Camille, she was really pissing me off because she was acting at Lisa Vanderpump's house and then saying stuff in confessionals, 2 totally opposite things. Because if I just watched her interview, I was like, if I just watched her time at Lisa's house, she really understood and she wasn't upset that Lisa wasn't going to come to the wedding, and she really felt like the women were villainizing and victimizing and, really coming after Lisa Vanderpump.
Two-faced.
And then in her fucking interview, she's being so two-faced. Like, of all the things that I don't like about her, at least she's been like so like real, like coming after Teddy and like really being like open with Dorit. Like, but she was being such a little two-faced little bitch to Lisa Vanderpump. It was really pissed me off.
No, it's pissed me off. She's going as Two-Face.
Oh my God, the kitchen, I just can't. It looks great.
It looks great. No, I can't with the renovations, but I'm glad we got to see. It's not that kind of show. I'm glad we got to see the final kitchen because I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
I love the episode without her. Like I can only like now imagine a world where Vanderpump is not on Beverly Hills, and it seems amazing.
Yeah. And then Southern Charm.
Oh, okay. You know what? I really like slept on Southern Charm for a while, but I got heavily involved last year when Ashley Jacobs came over here and manipulated us. And then 2 days later, like Thomas Ravenel went to jail being accused of rape. And it's so interesting how they have to talk about this like big elephant in the room and him and her like not be there, which I like because you know what? I don't need to hear their side. Like they're crazy and disgusting, and I'm like happy just for
And
Catherine.
by the way, we've been hearing his side for the last 6 seasons, and he's a liar. The only thing I'm annoyed about
is like it's finally like okay, it's Catherine's like comeuppance like finally like it's been years of like everyone talking shit, Thomas like really like pulling the wool over the eyes of everyone and everyone turning on Catherine, and like this is her year and like they bring in this girl.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they need a contrarian. And when Catherine, and like obviously this girl comes in and like everyone who goes toe to toe with Catherine like makes it onto the season. And when Catherine was like, my coattails are just about worn out, I was like, that was literally all she had to say. And that was exactly what this girl was doing, which is trying to antagonize Catherine.
To become a part of the storyline.
And because like everyone else, like Cameron, pretty even, like level-headed. Catherine has always had these really big reactions, even when she's just pushed a little bit. But Eliza needs to realize she's not that girl anymore. And so she thought that she was, and like if she says something to Catherine, and she'll get a reaction, and there she's in the scene. But Catherine is not playing these games. And I can't believe right now I'm like totally shipping Catherine and Whitney when there was a time when like I literally wanted to throw him in jail for like being a creep.
No, I know. He's like such a weird character because like he's like not on the show.
He's such a weird character.
His mom is on the show more than he is.
And he's an executive producer of the show. He's always been. He like came up with the concept for the show. It's so weird to me.
So he like got the show off the ground and then like took a step back.
Because people did not like him because he's such a weird character. I don't know how I feel about him. I don't know if we've ever met him. Maybe that's like why I don't know how I feel about him because I'm only going based on TV.
Yeah. The thing with Southern Charm is like I'm obsessed with all the guys on the show. Like I think Austin is so hot and like I just love him. And I'm just like not here for this like weird girl that he's dating.
Oh, I'm kind of here for her. I think it's so hilarious. Do you see our Watch What Happens Live?
No.
Oh, no, you didn't. Mitchell Tenpenny bartended an episode with Patricia and Catherine as the guests, and then Madison was in the audience, and like Andy's asking her a ton of questions because he's like so invested in this threesome drama, and she's like responding, and Austin's tweeting, and they're literally fighting, and they're still together, and they're fighting on TV via Andy.
Why wasn't she with him?
I don't know why she came alone. It was weird, but I'm kind of liking her because like she's like Austin cheated on her, so she cheated on him. And by the way, they were on a break, and
Shep was wrong about that.
Shep was totally wrong, but like the girls should get to act like the guys.
Yeah.
So I like her. I like her.
You know what's so interesting is, and I didn't even put together till the very end, it's like, okay, so Cameron, we're adjusting to her new life as a mom, and she's complaining a lot. And it's like, okay, Catherine's a mom too, you know? So I feel like we need some more like mom content with the two of them, and they should really be bonding now.
They are bonding. Catherine went over to her house last season. They talked about mom stuff, and it was actually kind of a nice scene. I think with Catherine and the kids this season, it's all about like custody.
Yeah.
And it's like so much more than just mom content.
And Craig, while I'm really happy for him, he really seems to be in a good place. His apartment looks awesome, and I'm really happy for him.
Did you see last season's apartment?
Yes.
Okay.
He like needs to like hop off of Naomi's dick and like stop acting like Naomi is kept up at night by the thought of Craig, because it's just like so not true, and her boyfriend's like so cute and he's a doctor. It's like she's doing fine. So while I'm happy for him, he's annoying me.
And they are so in shape. Like I felt like a fucking sloth.
No, totally.
Watching them
so
work
good.
out at like 5 in the
I love
morning.
when she just keeps addressing her new nose because everyone's like, "Did you get a new nose?"
No, totally. I'm so happy for her, and I personally shipped Craig and Naomi, but I understand that it's not, that ship has sailed. So I'm happy for Naomi, and I think Craig's dating someone now.
But not the girl that he brought.
No, who did he bring again?
Some rando.
Oh, and I love how Naomi's like, wow, she's so pretty. Like that's
Yeah,
just like
that's how
good
you know you're
human.
so secure.
Yeah, you're so secure, and like you're not an asshole, and like you're not a bitch.
And they made it seem like Naomi didn't say hi because she was like feeling awkward. No, she stayed in Patricia's couch and she was freaking the fuck out. But the second she got up and saw Craig, she said hi. They tried to paint it like she was being it weird, and she wasn't, because she was freaking out about the champagne. And I totally understood, because a lot of things you don't want to do, and staying in Patricia's couch is one of them.
And here's the thing about Patricia, because I've said horrible things on the show only to match the things that she said about Catherine. And now that her and Catherine are friends, you would think I would back off. And you know what? I'm definitely backing off a little bit. But there is just something innately evil about her. The fact that she has supported Thomas all this time, you know him. Like, you knew him. You can't pretend like he pulled the wool over eyes. You're a smart woman. Like,
you've been around the block.
Have some accountability, and now she just wants to completely promote Catherine. It's like, I'm not fully buying it. Like, you enabled Thomas. Like, you completely... Like, what Thomas did to Catherine was horrible, but what Patricia did to her, like, society-wise...
But Patricia allowed it.
Like, just piled on.
Yeah.
And... her sitting at a table with like a bunch of 25-year-olds like
is weird. Is weird.
Is weird. And like is weird.
And they can frame it as much as they want as like Whitney's coming home party, but it's not. It's weird. And you know what? I'm not here for it. I don't like Patricia, except I did watch literally 2 hours of the Skinny Confidential story visiting her house, and it was fascinating, and I was loving it from like her being this like socialite, like, and this like historic iconic socialite. I love that angle, but her also being like a shit starter on a reality show for 20-year-olds, I'm not into.
No, but I it's not every day that we get a historical socialite who's open to reality TV. So like for that reason, I appreciate her presence, but it's like focus more on the historical socialite aspect, not just like the asshole hanging out with 25-year-olds giving bad advice to her son and his rapist friend.
No, totally.
Like I'm not ready. I didn't even get an apology, you know, so I'm not ready to forgive, nor have I been asked to.
Right, because she like has the unique situation where she's never really on a reunion. She doesn't have to like speak for herself or answer for her actions. It's not right. But she has such a heavy hand in everything that she really, it's not like she's a small character. She's a huge important character. Like,
she's a huge important character. She pulls Whitney's puppet strings. Whitney's an executive producer, whatever Patricia wants will happen to Catherine, will happen to anyone. She could probably get someone off the show, and that's what she tried to do to Catherine. And so I could see in a year from now me being like, wow, I can't believe I once hated Patricia. I love her because I'm supposed to love her. Like, she's everything. She's iconic. Her clothes, her dogs, her butler, her house, etc. Like, it's all wonderful, and I know I'm supposed to love it as much as Lady Gaga loves her. I need some sort of like accountability for the fact that like you almost completely destroyed this young girl's life protecting this older man who, by the way, didn't even have a good history and who didn't
his felon
and who's a felon and didn't ever act like he wasn't what he was. He always made these comments. He was always just like this slurring asshole, and you allowed him to do that. So I need some accountability on that front. Maybe we'll get it this season before I completely turn.
I agree.
And those are my thoughts.
Okay, well, what a wild episode, a roller coaster of emotions. Here's the plan for this week. We're back tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday as well, Thursday as well, and then right after Thursday's episode, we are driving to Camp Toast. So Friday's episode will be a Camp Toast episode, which will be for the community of Camp Toasters and also our Patreon members. So if you want to listen to the Camp Toast episodes this weekend, make sure to head over to patreon.com/themorningtoast for a good time.
Anyways, we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Bye.